Good evening. It is time for another fireside chat edition of the Risk Safeguard Advantage podcast. I am John Belek, your host, coming to you this evening at the end of the first quarter of 2021. And it's been 3 months since we had a fireside chat, so I thought it was time for another. 2021's been an interesting year thus far, a year marked with optimism regarding the COVID-19 pandemic. Vaccinations are being distributed. Things appear to be opening up here in the United States. But at the same time, we're met with a reality that the damages from this global pandemic are far from over. And the challenges to everyone's businesses varies, but one thing that is consistent is the effect it is having on everyone's workforce is a challenge that we'll be dealing with for many years to come. I left you at the end of 2020 talking about what family businesses mean to the United States economy and what they contribute to the world's gross domestic product as well as here at home. And knowing that everyone has had their own versions of adversity this past year, whether you're a business owner, an employee, a family member, whatever it may be that you are struggling with, I thought tonight's fireside chat I would dedicate towards an inspiring story of resiliency, overcoming adversity in a family business. So I have myself a nice Manhattan here that I'm going to share with you tonight. I'm going to read to you something I titled Family Business, A Story of Adversity and Resiliency. February 1st, 1916, at the age of 24, Ole Kirk Christensen bought Belek joinery for Danish krone currency at 10,000. The factory made doors, windows, kitchen cabinets, cupboards, coffins, chests of drawers, tools for digging peat, and bodywork for carts. All of first-class quality, which is important to Ole Kirk Christensen's history. Gradually, the business broadened its scope and tackled bigger projects. Later in 1916, Ole married his wife and later went on to have 4 children with her. In 1924, Ole's factory and house that was connected to the factory burned to the ground. He did rebuild and continued his carpentry business. Like many other enterprises, Ole Kirk Christensen's joinery factory was hard hit by the global economic crisis following the 1929 Wallstreet Crash. The USA and the UK placed restrictions on imports, and that brought the crisis directly to the Danish farming community in 1930. Butter and pig meat prices fell sharply, and these products represent a huge section of Danish exports. Life became very difficult for Danish farmers. This also had serious consequences for Ole Kirk Christensen farmers and smallholders. His most important customers can no longer afford to carry out carpentry and joinery work. In 1931, he has no option but to let his last journeyman go. While fighting for his business's survival in 1932, Ole's wife died from complications following phlebitis. Ole Kirk Christensen is now a widower with 4 boys aged 6 to 15. The future looks very bleak. Ole faces the fact that life is a gift, but at the same time can be challenging. A thought which he often repeats to his children. In his memoirs, Ole writes the year 1932, I looked to the future with hope, but within 2 months my world was tumbling. There was a crisis in farming, but as we owed our living to smallholders and farmers, we were also affected. During the summer, we were asked to make toys for Jens Olsen Frederica, and it was not yet an accepted practice to take child's play seriously and give them toys. Until 1934, Ole manufactured buildings, furniture, and toys, but that year he decided to concentrate on toy production. One day, a man walked into his shop and thought of buying his toys for when Christmas came. Ole agreed and began to make money again, so he hired back all his old workers. Soon, though, the man who bought the toys went into bankruptcy and couldn't buy the toys anymore. To make money, Ole had to go around town and sell his toys himself. It didn't give him much, but it was enough to keep going. It's during this time that Ole's son Gottfried decided to save time and money by putting less work into making the toys. Ole was not impressed and was in fact disappointed. Ole required his son Gottfried to work the toys again, That day they learned an important lesson that the high quality of the toys and honesty of the customers were important. This led to the central idea that only the best is good enough. Within a few years, Olay laid the foundations of what has become one of the world's leading toy companies. Do you know who it is yet? Olay named his new toy company with two Danish words, "Lay godt," meaning play well. In choosing the name, he places the emphasis firmly on developing child's play, at the same time focusing on the quality and preference to mass production. It's not until much later that someone realizes the name Lego in Latin means "I put together." When World War II started, a storm set on the workshop on fire, and they couldn't save any of the toys or blueprints. But Olay was not a quitter. He built a better workshop and was able to buy a plastic molding machine, which he used to make little plastic teddy bears. But then he had another idea of building bricks. He made the first Lego brick molds and began to work on the new toys. Many years later, in 2003, with $800 million in debt, Lego again faced the possibility of bankruptcy. However, by 2015, after refocusing on their strategy and exploring new opportunities, the company pulled through their challenge and became one of the most respected companies in the world. Now, today, in 2020, Lego, owned and run by Olay's great-grandson, a fourth-generation family business. Lego did just shy of $7 billion revenue last year and employs 17,500 people worldwide. I share with you that story because every family business right now, as well as every business, is going through challenges. And my guess is this is not the first nor the last challenge that you will endure as a business. I share the story of Lego because today, my daughter, who's 3.5, plays with Legos. Myself, many years older than her, I played with Legos. My parents played with Legos. Your parents played with Legos. The story of Lego is a wonderful inspiration as to what happens when a family business puts their head down and moves forward through adversity and discovers the resiliency that we all possess. I would love to hear your family business story. The ups, the downs, the challenges, the successes. I share the story of Lego with you because they are not alone. Every family business has its own history and its own story, including the story of Sinclair. We are a family business, and our founder has gone through his own shares of ups and downs, but today we are committed to our mission of helping you, family businesses, succeed in your missions, and that's everything we do when we get up in the morning, is to help you succeed. I look forward to being with you for many months and years ahead, and I wish you all well in the upcoming months of this year, knowing there will be challenges. Please share your stories, but most importantly, always remember that the sun comes up tomorrow and that better days are ahead. Take care. Have a good evening. Thank you for joining me for this fireside chat. Take care.